Let's be honest, most of us think of revision as a chore, right? It's like the penalty for not getting it perfect the first time. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if revision isn't a punishment, but a superpower? Today, we're going to dive into the art of revision and how to turn a pretty good idea into a genuinely great piece of work. First things first, let's just get this out in the open, because it's maybe the most freeing idea in all of writing. Nobody, I mean no one, not your favorite author, not your smartest professor, nobody gets it perfect on the first try. It just doesn't happen. And that simple fact is our starting point. So here's the thing you've got to remember. When you type that final period, you're not done. Not even close. Think of it more like a checkpoint. The real work, the part that actually makes your writing shine, is just getting started. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to bust that myth of perfection. You know, the one that holds us all back. Then we'll talk about how to get into a reviewer's mindset and give you a super practical checklist to use. We'll also unlock the secret weapon of getting a second opinion. And finally, we'll look at the real rewards of doing all this. Okay, let's kick things off with the big one, the myth of perfection. You know that idea that amazing writing just flows out perfectly formed on the first go? Yeah, that's probably one of the most damaging ideas in writing, period. Let's break down why your first draft is and always should be just the beginning. Yep, you heard that right. This isn't just for good writing, it's the standard for all effective writing. Seeing a paper go through a few versions isn't a sign that the writer is struggling. It's actually the sign of a really diligent writer, someone who's dedicated to getting it right. You should think of your first draft like raw clay. It's just about getting all those jumbled ideas out of your head and onto the page. It's supposed to be messy. It's not supposed to be brilliant. Its only job is to exist, so you have something to work with. Okay, so you've written the messy first draft. How do you switch gears from being the creator to being the critic? It takes a totally new mindset. Let's talk about how to get the reviewer's mindset and look at your own work with fresh, critical eyes. Now, these first two steps are so simple, but trust me, they're game changers. Before you even think about rereading your work, just walk away. Take a break. Give your brain some space. Then, print it out. I know it sounds old school, but this one little action completely changes how you see the text. Well, when you're looking at a screen, your brain is just wired to scan. We're all scrolling all day, right? But a piece of paper in your hands, that forces you to slow down, to read in a more focused way. And that little shift is all it takes to suddenly see all those typos and weird sentences that were totally invisible before. Okay, so you've taken your break, you've got the printed draft, pen in hand. What now? Well, you can't just dive in randomly. You need a system. So here's a checklist to guide you, and we're going to go from the big picture stuff all the way down to the tiny details. This is the absolute first thing you have to check. Before you worry about a single comma or typo, ask yourself, did I actually do what the assignment asked for? Because honestly, if the answer is no, none of the other stuff even matters yet. All right, next up, let's look at your main argument. Can a reader follow your logic from the beginning to the end without getting confused? Does it all hang together? Does it actually make sense? This is all about the backbone of your paper. Okay, now we're talking about flow. I like to think of paragraphs as stepping stones, leading your reader across a river. Are the stones close enough together for an easy walk, or are you asking them to make these giant, awkward leaps between ideas? So once all that big picture stuff is solid, then you can zoom in and start looking at the individual sentences. This is where you polish everything. Are your sentences sound? Any spelling mistakes? Getting this right shows you care about the details and you respect your reader's time. And hey, here's a fantastic pro tip for catching those sneaky sentence-level errors. Just read it out loud. It's amazing what you'll hear. Your eyes might just skim past a mistake because your brain knows what it's supposed to say. But your ears, they don't lie. If it sounds clunky when you say it, it's definitely clunky to read. So you've gone through the checklist, you've edited your own work, but we're not point done. There's one more really important step. Because no matter how good you are, you just can't see all of your own mistakes. We all have blind spots. And that's where getting a fresh pair of eyes on your work is an absolute game changer. You see, it's all about perspective. When we read our own stuff, our brain automatically fills in the blanks because, well, we know what we were trying to say. But someone else, they only see what's actually on the page. They'll spot those logical jumps you made and the simple typos you've read over a dozen times. And look, getting feedback isn't just about fixing this one paper. It's like getting a personalized lesson on your own writing habits. It helps you see your patterns, your strengths, and your weaknesses, so you can get better over the long haul. So, who should you ask? Well, it could be a friend, a classmate, maybe even a family member. And hey, if your professor or your teacher ever offers to look at a draft, jump on that opportunity. That is pure gold. But here's the really important part. Don't just mindlessly fix the things they point out. You have to ask yourself, why did I make that mistake? When you figure out the why, that's when you stop making the same mistake over and over again. That's real growth. Okay, so we've talked about why you should revise and how to do it. Now for the fun part. What's in it for you? Let's talk about the real rewards you get when you go all in on revision and how it takes a decent draft and makes it something you can be really proud of. So, what's the payoff here? It's way more than just getting a better grade, though that's definitely part of it. When you revise properly, you make your message clearer, your argument stronger, and honestly, it actually makes you a better critical thinker. It literally sharpens your mind. I mean, the connection here couldn't be clearer. The amount of effort you put into revising has a huge direct impact on the final result. It's often the one thing that separates a good enough peeper from a really fantastic one. So, let's wrap this up with a question for you. Now that you know all this, what's one small thing you're going to start doing differently? Just one. Maybe you'll commit to always printing your draft, or maybe you'll finally start reading your work aloud. Whatever it is, think about it. Because taking this idea and turning it into a real habit, well, that's where the magic really happens.